You are still trapped in the Band 6 range and just can't break through the Band 7 ceiling. I've sat in the examiner's chair for thousands of interviews. I've seen really smart students, doctors, engineers, lawyers, who speak English all day at work. I have no doubt that these people could absolutely survive in their profession or university in an English-speaking country, but they still walk away with a Band 6 or 6.5. They think they need bigger words to reach a 7. They are wrong. In fact, the way you're using advanced vocabulary could be the exact reason you're stuck. Today, I'm showing you the vocabulary trap that often snags students in Band 6 and how to break out of it. When I was an examiner, I wasn't looking for a walking dictionary. The Band 7 descriptor for Lexical Resource says uses less common and idiomatic items and an awareness of style and collocation is evident. Notice it says awareness of style. I can tell you what happens all the time. Students go out of their way to memorize show-off words and drop them into the sentences like bombs. It sounds unnatural, and as an examiner, I can tell you that it hardly ever works the way you want it to. Let's look at a few mistakes that students often make. The first mistake is using words that are too formal for the speaking exam. The speaking test is a semi-formal conversation, not a PhD thesis. If you're asked, do you live in a house or an apartment? I reside in a commodious domicile in the suburbs. Nobody talks like that. It feels rehearsed. I live in a pretty spacious house on the outskirts of the city. The word spacious is a less common item, and it's used accurately. Commodious domicile is just weird. No one uses it, and using it here ignores style, collocation, and the overall register of the test. See the difference? The second mistake. If you watched my other videos, you can probably predict what I'm going to say. The second mistake is forced idioms. I can't tell you how many times I heard, "It's raining cats and dogs," or "I passed the test with flying colors." Examiners hear these exact idioms all day long. Often, the student uses them in ways that don't make sense. Again, they're dropped in like bombs. There's no awareness of style or even the actual meaning of the idiom. Instead of memorizing old-fashioned idioms, use topic-specific collocations and idiomatic items. If we're talking about work, don't try and force the idiom, "I work like a dog." Say, "I have a really demanding workload," or "My job always leaves me beat at the end of the week." That's Band 7 vocabulary. Overall, I think the real difference between a 6 and a 7 is flexibility. A Band 6 speaker has a fixed vocabulary. If they forget a word, they get stuck. A Band 7 speaker can paraphrase. For example, if you forget the word for environmentally friendly, a Band 7 speaker says products that don't cause harm to the planet without missing a beat. They keep the flow going. That's what I'm looking for when I'm marking your test. And if a student is able to do it across their entire test, they are on their way to a really good score. Before we get to the fix, if you want help identifying your strengths and weaknesses, comment free, and I'll send you my free IELTS speaking self-assessment checklist. It's a simple way to understand some of the things you need to be working on. So, how do we use Band 7 words without sounding like a robot thesaurus, getting stuck, or throwing idiom bombs at your examiner? Well, for part 2, I tell my students to use the triple E method: explain, example, and emotion. Most students stop at the example, but when you add emotion, I think it makes it so much easier to naturally use higher level adjectives and vocabulary. For example, instead of saying the park was good, Triple E leads you to say, I felt completely restored after a visit because the atmosphere was so serene. This is idiomatic. It uses precise vocabulary and it sounds natural. And that's how you get your Band 7 lexical score. Here's your homework for this week. Stop memorizing a list of advanced words. Start learning how to use common words in advanced ways through collocations. You can use books, TV, movies, podcasts, and YouTube to see how English is used in an advanced and still natural way. In the next video of this series, I'm going to show you the coherence gap. Why your logic might be clear to you, but confusing to an examiner. If you found this video helpful, like the video, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook for more English and IELTS tips. Until next time, happy studies.